let's go back to Larry. Larry, can you put in a question for him for Dick Gregory? And Greg is we want to talk to you.
Okay, there's two. I'm going to make it real quick. Two quick questions. By being in the Marine Corps, my eyes are open wide about how the United States spread terror all over the world. And do you think that more African-American males and females should go to the military to get the necessary skills to get prepared for the Civil War that's going to happen in America? And also, Mr. Nelson, what can we do to get you back on the air so we don't have to listen to the watered-down news from Roland Martin? And I'll listen to you off the air on those two questions. Thank you. Happy birthday, Mr. Gregory.
Thank you, my brother. First, you're not going in this military to learn how to overthrow her, okay? Okay, unbeknownst to most folks, if you got a gun in your house, black or white, and it's under 40 years old, 40 years ago they started putting chips in guns, and they can push your button from a satellite and blow your gun up, all right? You're dealing with the most criminal-minded thug that ever lived in the history of the planet, and you're not going to do... It's interesting listening to the show this morning. The brother called. First, let me say call. The brother asked you, I didn't know you're not having this show no more. I didn't know that till he says just a few minutes ago.
Right.
So your last day is when?
We're in it. We're in the last hour.
Well, you don't have to worry about nothing. The world done heard you. Here is the #1 capital that's ever existed in the history of the planet. So they hear you from all over the world. And the type of show you got, don't you think the CIA and the FBI and all of them don't listen to this show? And the reason is because they know that black folks have something special. Black folks don't know it, but they know. We sit around and talk about we're not in business, we don't have that. And we never talk about a white racist system. Look what happened. Bill Cosby never had a problem until he said he wanted to buy NBC, and NBC was for sale. And then all at once his son get killed. And nobody explained to somebody going to rob him on the highway. And he had $6,000 cash on him. He had a pocket full of credit cards. And he had a Mercedes that few people understood that car, top of the line. If you got a flat, it's changed its own time. So why he need to call a white woman to come out in a mink skirt, high heel shoes, and all of that. And then after that, I mean, ask yourself a question. How Bill Cosby, loved by everybody, that all at once his son get killed and he can't do no more Jello commercials? Are y'all crazy? And yet and still we want to factor in everything and blame it on us. Black folks are just like a bunch of crabs in a pot of hot water. Once one gets to the top, they pull them back. That's not the crabs, that's the hot water making them act like that. Clown, what you see out here is not my blackness. You go hang out where crabs hang out. They ain't pulling and pulling on one another. They do all this craziness. And then you reach up and buy it yourself and think that's you doing it. And so consequently, I don't know how long I've been reading this part of the statistic here. Listen to this. This is a scientist. See, we always don't sit around and try to come out of some bag instead of when America decided they want to go to outer space, they didn't get white folks that loved America. They got scientists to come in from all over the world. Hear this. This ran in a British newspaper, not in an American paper. Crime linked to pollution. Polluted water can cause brain damage that turns ordinary people into violent criminals. The researcher, Roger Masters of Dartmouth College, he said that he found a link studying the FBI files with information of industrial discharge of lead and manganese. You get enough manganese, you'll kill your mama. They spray that in your community at night. You just like the Germans. The Jews didn't know because Germans was coming to them, telling them what was about to happen, and they didn't believe it, okay? Lead and manganese. He found a link between pollution levels and murder, assault and robbery. Counties with the highest amount of pollution have a crime rate 3 times the nation's average. Okay, let's try to explain that. Everybody, what was the brother's name that bought Beatrice International? Lewis?
Reginald Lewis.
On his cell phone one day and died. But y'all want to sit around and talk about we ain't got no bit. Have y'all forgot about Black Wall Street? You know, it just, well, it don't upset me because I won.
Well, hang on, Greg, because we got to take a break. When we come back, if you can shut up on the answer, because a bunch of folks want to reach you.
All right, good.
CarlNelsonShow.com. Guest is Dick Gregory. Let's go to line 5. Erica's been holding for a while. She's in Cleveland.
Yes, God bless you, Erica, and the family.
Thank you. I would like to say I'm very disappointed that your show is going off. I am so disappointed, and I would like to thank you, Mr. Dick Gregory, for all of your work and your love for the Black community. Reading your posts and your books and listening to you inspired me to try and have a lifelong legacy of helping our people. I love them. I don't judge them. And I come from a place of love for them. And I wanted to say, I don't think there's nothing you can do to some African Americans to get them from Christianity. My mom and dad stopped talking to me over not going to church, and I want to know, what can I do to help wake my people up? I just don't know if I'm doing it efficiently, and I have so much love for them, but it's like that's taken out on me because I love them so much. But Carl, we're gonna miss you. I love your show. I'm really disappointed that they're having the masses come in. I would never be an African American who can say my legacy is to hold other African Americans down by being what our oppressor made us into, which is these Christians and these, loving them and hating each other. I could never be Roland Martin. I could never be any of these housemen I consider them to be. And Armstrong Williams was also one of those that you had on your show. But I want to thank you, Dick Gregory, and I'll get off the phone and say that I don't believe in Jesus, and I know it's fake, and I believe in us.
Well, let me just say something to you, ma'am. Thank you much. One of the things we're going to have to stop doing is think love is going to change. Love changes you. If you had 6 children and you wanted them to be geniuses in mathematics, trigonometry, calculus, just because you love them, you ain't qualified to teach them that. So we need to get out of this crap because I love my people. My oldest son, I had 10 brilliant. My oldest son came to me, called me from Dallas, said, Dad, you got to come here and help me. I'm hooked to crack. Okay? I said, I can't help you. Huh? I've never smoked a reefer in my life, and don't call your mama, okay? She ain't never drank a beer. Dad, you go all over the world helping people. Shut up, boy. Let me tell you something. If the doctor told you you had a brain tumor, you wouldn't call me to come to Dallas and cut your head open. Y'all got to get out of that crap.
Yeah.
How did we get the 1954 Supreme Court decision? Those was lawyers, huh? That understand. I don't know how old you are, but there was a time you couldn't win a cigarette settlement. Now you can't lose one, okay? And so consequently, we say, well, we're going to do this. I paid $2 million do the research on breast milk, and I was asked to send me the #1 authority on breast milk in the world. It was 2 of them, and when you know they were men, the mother is nursing the baby when that other breast is leaking. That's not milk, okay? That's not milk. That's the poisons in the body that leak so the baby don't get it. If you smoke, if you drink, if you're around places, you have a job where people smoke, that's what that is. And so when you take cow's milk, let me separate this. Cow's milk is for cows. Mother's milk is for babies. If you take cow's milk is the #1 thing in milk is called casein. Casein builds the bone structure to carry the body's weight. Cow's milk builds a bone structure to carry a ton plus. Mother's milk builds a structure to carry a maximum of 75 pounds. If you could take cow's milk and put it next to mother's milk, in order to make cow's milk look like mother's milk, you have to add 3,000 times equivalent of water to make it milk. Now, what do they do with cow's milk? They say they make casein, they make kerosene and glue. Is it an accident that the #1 milk company in the world in Ohio Thornton's milk just happened to make Elmer's glue. And everywhere on this planet where cow's milk is in the culture, you know, you have a lot of babies dying from crib death. Where there's no cow's milk in the culture, there is no such thing as crib death. So all this stuff about what can I do? What are you qualified to do? Okay, what are you qualified to do? And so consequently, when we get past that, then we'll start seeing things change. Now, what are we dealing with? We're the only group of people in the history of the planet that were slaves that didn't stay enslaved for 5,000 years. Check all your research. The Jews, everybody that was in slavery, stayed 5,000 years except us. Why? When that white boy came over there and thought he was stealing workers, he was stealing scientists. Okay? And this white boy tell you, but we don't hear what he's saying. He said, if you got 1/32nd Negro blood in you, you're a Negro. What does that mean? In order to make one white boy equal to me, you got to put 32 white boys next to me. We didn't hear that, okay? And so consequently, when we understand, you say, well, I'm not a Christian. Well, you don't have to be a Christian for it to affect you, huh? I had a Muslim friend of mine said, I don't celebrate no whitey Christian holidays. Anytime Christmas calls on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and your bank is closed, you celebrating it. And so consequently, my mother, you couldn't find nobody that loved her children no more than my mother did. After the first of the year, January the 1st, that first week, she started putting money and working to have our toys for Christmas. You may not stupid you got to be to work all year round for your children to have a Christmas and then tell them a white boy brought it. Tell me about us. I'm one of them.
We got to keep stepping because a lot of folks want to get to them before.
Okay, but
this will probably be the last time they even get a chance to even talk to you. And Erica, I'll be on, as I always, on 1450 WOL from 4 to 7. And folks, you can always find me there at WOLDCnews.com, or you're tuning in amp, just go to WOL. And
okay.
Let's go to line 6. OC's in Altadena, California. OC, you're on with Dick Gregory.
OC, God bless.
Yeah, right, Dick. Happy birthday. And call. I made the call. I don't know how many more will be made, but I complain. But anyway, Dick, I want to ask you a question. From my observation, it appears that no God, including the universal God, and forgive me for infringing upon the one you adhere to, answers the prayers of black people. Black people pray that, this woman in Washington, that we get justice in that. We've been praying for justice on these killings and all that. It seems like no God hears the prayers of black people.
Who told you to pray to God? God or the church?
The church.
Okay. Yeah.
I learned that from I no longer do it. But when I agree.
So don't blame God, though. Just trying to answer your prayers. Your prayers is answered. All you got to do is meditate. Keep your mouth shut. You don't qualify. If you got a 2-year-old child, that child don't qualify to have a conversation with you. If there's something bothering them, they cry. They make noise. And then you have to understand that they're trying to tell you something. So we got the God thing mixed up. The same universal God that created the Jew created the German. The same universal God that created the slave created the slave master. Okay? And so when we sit around and mix those two up together, the dinosaurs been going off this planet for 2 billion years. You know who was here when the dinosaur was here? The turtle and the butterfly. Okay?
All right. Hold that thought right there because we got to step away and take a break. We've got news at the bottom of the hour. Come back. OC, thanks for your call. We're going to take some more calls for Dick Gregory. Folks, maybe it's the last chance you get time to speak to him, unless in this particular hour at least. 877-373-9766 is the number to call. Speak to Dick Gregory. We'll take your calls after the news. This is Trending Today. And thank you, Betty. Thanks for that. And, of course, thank you for reaching out to us, the rest of you guys on Facebook and Twitter at carlnelsonshow.com. Dick Gregory's our guest, and probably the last time you get a chance to ask him a question, so make it brief. And, Greg, if you can respond briefly as well, there's a bunch of folks trying to reach you. Let's go to line 7. Kenny's in Seattle listening to us on 1620. Kenny, you're on with Dick Gregory.
Sir, happy birthday, Mr. Gregory.
My brother, and God bless you and the family, Ken.
Thank you. And, Carl, man, we're all going to try to keep you on, even if you want to go. We don't want you to go.
I love it.
Hey, there's so much out here I mean, it's like what happened in Florida. The man got ran over by a car. A 107-year-old man was shot. He was blind, shot and killed. And this lady in D.C., I believe that, man, that they could have used a taser, anything to stop her.
Well,
they didn't have to kill her.
Let me say something to you, brother. Let me tell you how you have to look at this. Let's go back to the naval yard. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I would tell Carl to do this, but since he's not going to be there, those y'all listening, go to YouTube and type in the Daily Courier, Courier. That's a newspaper in Canada. And here's what you're going to read. I want you to hear me real good, and I'll show you how we messed up.
Okay.
Police, FBI, shooter reported in military building at Washington Naval Yard. Multiple victims. You got that? Now it tells you who the story. The story is by the AP. Okay?
Okay.
And here it is. The date. Sunday, 15th September, 2013, 11:31 p.m. Now let me go over this again because we miss it. Sunday, 15th of September, the shooting didn't happen till Monday, okay? You see that?
Oh, yeah.
It means when they know they control something, they release the story before, then all they have to do is punch it up and send it out. Somebody sent this out too early. This date is, you hear what I'm saying? That's why when you look at it, it's not making sense. Okay? It's not making sense at all because this has already done happened. It haven't happened, but they know. Now, here's another one. Naval Yard Naval Yard shooter was a former sailor. Now, listen to this close. 13 killed in shooting rampage, including gunmen. Date, September the 16th, 2030, 6 a.m. The shooting didn't start till 6:20, 8:20. You hear me? Then it says helicopter lifts a person off the roof. Police responded to the shooting Monday at the Naval Yard, D.C. At least 6 people, hear this now, at least 6 people killed by as many as 3 gunmen. They kept saying that, okay? Then they changed it. Now, if you look at this, when you pull it up, you look at this medevac helicopter. They're bringing 2 people in. That's how they got in the building. They were dead, and they told us it was 2. They was looking for a white man that made 3. Then all at once, they got to catch up with the story and start changing it. And they can do that when you lock in emotions. And then we go again to the woman that was killed in front of. Now, for those of you in Washington, D.C., who looked at that, I'm not talking about the ones that didn't look at it. The story broke at 10 after 2. I got a call from a friend of mine in London and said the woman's dead. Now, you didn't get that report out of here until 7 o'clock that night. Now, y'all follow this now. It was at the White House. That's why the pictures were so good, because the press had time to get to the White House. They didn't know where it was going. They had the helicopters there, and we watched that chase. Now, first, a woman from Connecticut, okay, decides that the president's saying things to her. So she's going to drive here with a 1-year-old baby in the car. Come on, y'all. Ain't no black or white woman, nobody with a baby would take that child on some like that. You would leave it somewhere. Okay, hold it now. Wait a minute. Now, those of y'all that live in D.C., you followed that chase. You saw that car going through and everything, and then all at once we see them surrounding that car. I want y'all to hear me good now. They surrounding the car. They shooting it. They got their guns out. They running up there car shooting. And then when people say, well, why'd y'all use so much force? Well, we thought it might have been a bomb. Well, you're going to shoot a car with a bomb? If it was a bomb in there, all y'all would have been dead. The other thing is this. You can't find no more bomb-sniffing dogs than around the Capitol. How come we didn't see one dog out there? Now, you have to listen to me real close now. You saw the baby. That's the first time we knew it was black. You saw that cop with that baby, and you didn't see that cop take that baby out that car. Now, let's go back to how many times she shot in the head. She's in the car. The cameras is all around. How come we never saw them take her out of that car? There was never an ambulance brought in there and with a stretcher and put her on it. I've always said since I looked at that, there was nobody in that car. Then who was driving? Remote control. You remember when we landed that rover up on Mars and you saw it moving around? That was being controlled from down here on the ground. Okay? And so now that's why it don't make no sense. You're looking at one thing, but your brain is seeing something else.